So now, as of now, you have seen BI database design, how data is storing in the BI system, right? So based on this, we will start our first exercise. Now imagine we have given some data like this: the customer number, name, address, and so here I am creating a file, but real time this file will be given to you by the client people. Okay, according to that. Okay, so imagine I have some data like this. So what are the data that you have? This data now I want to load it into BI. How do I want to load it? Let us say manually. So I am not extracting from file, I am not extracting from R3. So we are first, for you to understand what is that I am going to do. A small exercise I am taking wherein I will be loading the data from a manual entry. Then we will start loading from file, then we start loading from R3. Okay. Now, first thing, what is your exercise now? Loading of what type of data is that? So data is categorized into how many types? 2 types, right? What are the 2 types? Master data and transaction data. So now this is of what type? Master data, right? So loading of master data. So under master data, what type it is? Master data is categorized into how many types? Master data is categorized into 3 types, right? Attributes, text, and hierarchy. So now under master data, what type it is? This is what type? Attributes or text or hierarchy. Text means it represents language and description. Hierarchy means level by level representation. Attributes means all the other things are depending on the primary key. So name is the information of what? Customer. Address is information of customer. That means this is right. So loading of master data of type attributes into BI using what? Manual entry operation. Okay, what is your exercise now? What you are going to do is clear? Right. Now what will be the solution for this? What has to be done first? First what you have to do? First task of a BI consultant is what? Modeling, right? So same as this source, you need to develop a target in the BI database we discussed. So that means you have to do the modeling and develop your target. See now, remember, it may be any extraction. You are extracting either maybe from file or from R3 or manually or whatever it is. The modeling part is same. Because once target is ready, this target is connected to the source. So that process may vary. But the development of the target process is one and the same only, right? So for doing the modeling, first what I have to do? I need to start create what? Info objects, right? So how many info objects I have to create in this case? 4 info objects. So here I have taken 4. So real time you may have some 100. Only that is the difference. Process remains same. Okay? Now these 4 are of what type? Customer number is what type? Character or key figure or unit or time? Character, name, character, address. Address is also character, phone number. It may be a numeric value, but can I measure it? That's what I said. Now first what is the first step of modeling? Identify number of info objects. Next step is identify what type I said, right? So now in this case, what you have to do? You have to create first what? 4 character info objects. Any task given to you, first analyze what has to be done. Then it is easy for you to start doing the exercise. Okay? Done. After creating 4 character info objects, what has to be done? What is attribute concepts? Now these are all 4 individual objects. Now I have to specify name is depending on number, address is depending on number, phone number is depending on. That means they are all attributes towards customer number. So what you have to do now? You have to specify, right? Other 3 info objects, right? You have, that is name, address and phone number as what? Attribute towards what? Customer number. So I need to specify name, address and phone number. They are depending on what? So if I do that task, that's nothing but my model. My target is ready in the BI database. It's nothing but my model will be ready in the. So that is what is now your task now. So first create 4 character info objects. After specify other 3 as attributes towards customer number. So that's nothing but model will be ready. For that model I can start loading the data in from file or from R3 or from. Okay. So now if you look at your last class, okay, what I am doing right now is what I am going to do is, so we are going to develop this one. Right? As I said, so first one I'm creating now, we are outside the cube, we are going to load master data, right? So now, once we create info object, this table will be developed, SID table will be automatically generated, and once I load master data, what happens? Your master table and SID table are, right? We are right now working on this particular part. Okay? Right. Now, so now, I'll go step by step, observe carefully. Okay? Right. So, step 1. So, what is that now? Step number. Now, what is that as I said? First, you have to start with what? Creating the character info objects. But before going to create your info, what is that we are going to create is? First one is called info area. Step 1 is what? Creation of info. Okay, what is info area is? Right, info area is a folder which is used to segregate the project. So what is info area is? It is one folder which is used to segregate your. Now here in BI, how many objects that we create? Objects related to sales, production, purchase, finance, inventory, quality. You extract data, almost entire R3 data we are going to extract, right? So now what happens? How many objects you are going to create? Lots of objects you are going to create. In this exercise it is 4. Like that I am speaking about entire project. It's very, very. Whenever you want to find some particular object, is it easy or very difficult? It's very difficult to find out some. Right? That's why what we'll do now, we'll create some folders. Let us say one folder for sales, one for production, one for purchase, one for finance, like this. So whenever you want to create sales related objects, I'll use the sales folder. Whenever you want to create a production related objects, we use a production folder. Like that. So it's just only one folder I'm going to create, which is used to segregate your project. Right? Just like in your system, you create a folders, right? What is the purpose? Whenever you want to search for some file, it is easy for you to just a segregation. So moreover, like this info area creation is only one time task. Once I create a folder for sales, next time onwards you can use the same folders to create that particular info area. So now, see how to start creating an info area object. So I am telling you the path from the beginning once I log on. So, what is that now? RSA1. Then you have to go with modeling tab. Then go with info object level. Then in the right frame, what do you have to do? Select the info objects at the top, right? Then context menu. Remember, context menu is nothing but right click. Technically speaking, we don't call it as a right click, you have to call it as a context menu. Okay, RSA1 modeling tab, info object level in the right frame. You have to select the info objects at the top, context menu. Then you have to select create info area. Right? See now? So I am telling you the path from the beginning. Once I log on, what is it? RSA1 modeling tab. Then I am going to info objects level. Then in the right frame, what is it? Can you see? This is your right frame. What is there here? Info objects, right? So if you are unable to see, you can come front. So in the right frame, select info objects at the top. Right click. That is context menu. What is the option you are seeing? Create info area. So it's asking now to give some name and description. As earlier I said, every object will have two names. One is called technical name, another one is called description. The technical name is refers to the database and it is common for all the languages. Description is for your front end and it may change from one language to another. And once we create a new object, I cannot change the technical name of that object. We cannot change the technical name of that object. Right? So, only description can be changed. Fine? So now, once you, can you see one checkbox here? That is called mandatory checkbox. Wherever you see that checkbox, a box with a tick mark, what is that now? It's mandatory that you have to give the input. It's mandatory that you have to give the input. Okay? That is the mandatory checkbox. Okay? So now, give some name and description. So you can give any name, it will allow. But SAP has given us some standards. SAP has given us some recommendations. SAP recommends us to use this particular naming convention, right? So this is the standards that are followed globally. Okay? So now, anything that you want to start creating, you have to start with either Z or Y. Wherever you see an object starting with Y or Z is nothing but a user-defined object, customer-defined object. Alright? And I said SAP ready-made objects are given, so those ready-made objects start with 0. In BI, the ready-made object starts with what? 0. User-defined object starts with Y or Z. Okay? So in R3, all ready-made objects start from A to X. R3. R3 is different, BI is different. So in R3 side, anything that you want to define, it is mandatory that you start with Y or Z. The same standard is followed here also, but here it's not mandatory. You can start with anything. Okay? So I'm starting now with what? Let us say Y. And what I'm creating? Info area. What I'm saying? YIA. IA stands for info area. Y stands for user defined. So give some underscore. Then give some description. Okay, and what I am saying, I am giving some description now. This is info area for continue. So give some name and description and you have to click on cut it. Now what you can see now? Can you see a folder here which has been created? So this is the technical name of the folder and this is the description of the folder. And what you can see here, there is an option called, so click on change. What is happening? Only it is allowing us to change the description but not the technical name. So once I create a new object, as I said, I cannot change any, right? So now, see now right click here, what is the options you can see? Change. Again same thing, whether you right click on technical name or whether you right click on in description, one of the same options. Then folder will be deleted. Then what is that? Create a, if you start create from here, it is a subfolder. Clear now what is step 1? So from here on, any sales related objects I want to use, I'll make use of this particular folder. This is what is step number 1. Now step 2. Okay, you can give name and description. Continue. So now what is your next step now? You have to start creating with info objects, right? So again there is some segregation, whether you are starting now creating an info object. Now whether you want an info object for character or for key figure, right? So again there is some segregation. Now what I'll do, again I'll create now 2 folders. Let us say one folder for characters, another folder for, so that is called info object catalog. What is your step 2 now? Creation of info object catalog. Now what is this info object catalog is? It is also what? Folder which is used to segregate what? Info is for entire segregation of your project, but this catalog, right? We are going to use it to segregate the info objects. Okay? Now see now how to create this catalog now. Same thing. RS7, modeling tab, info object level in the right frame. Okay, same part. RS7, modeling tab, info object level in the right frame. Select the info area. What I have to select? Info area. So if you want, you can write there. What is that now? Created in. Okay, I am selecting my info area which I have created in my step 1. Right? Then context menu. That is right click. What is the option I need to select now? Create info object catalog. Okay, same thing. RS7, modeling tab, info object level. Then in the right frame, select your info area. Context menu. What is the option now? Create info object catalog. So then same thing, it is asking to give name and description, right? So give some name and description. So give some name and description. Okay, why? User defined. What I am creating info object catalog, I'll say IOC underscore whatever you want, I can give. So I am saying C, and let us say this is your character catalog. And then what is asking? info object type. Whether you want a folder for characters, so this is the segregation I am speaking about. Segregation of info objects I am saying, right? So under info object type, select character, then after that you can click on create. I am selecting the character, so then what I am doing, I am clicking on create. So once I click create, what is happening? You are getting edit info object catalog, and what you can see, this is a description and this is a technical name. See, now if you want to change excuse me, change the description, you can right click here, context menu, change the description. It's allowing only the description, not the technical. I don't know something about version. I have stuck here. I need to know what is version is. What you can do, place the cursor on that what you want to know, press F1. F1 help is available. Now you will get a document related to version. Now what is this version is? Version defines the status of the object. You know, you are getting a document. So here you can see there is something called version. So what is version now? It defines status of the object with respect to what? Database. When I say status of the object means it is with respect to database. Now, yesterday in the last class I said when we are creating a character info object, system generates master table and SID table in the database. I said front end we are creating the objects, but the tables are generated where? In the database. Now, how it is generating the tables? Actually, there are some background programs has been kept. Once I create the object, I need to trigger these background programs so that it will perform some options in the database. What the action has to be performed in the database. Then only the operations will be performed. That means what are the objects that you have created, whether it is actively available in the database or not. You can see it from version. See now? What is that version now right now? It's saying new, and what is the status it is saying? Inactive. That means it is saying you cannot use this object because you just created in the front end, but I didn't send any request to my back end as of now. So, so try to go back. Will it allow what is telling? Not yet. Right, so anything that you create, what you have to do? You have to activate it. So now you have different types of versions are there. First one is called new. What is the version right now you have seen this? So whenever we create any object, initially what? Version will be what? New. So whenever we create any object, initially the version will be new. Then the second type of version is called active. So once we create an object, what we have to do is we have to activate this object. Once you create object, what you have to do? You have to activate it. So once we activate it, version changes from what? New to okay. Once we activate the object, version will change from new to active. So we can use only those objects which are available in which version? Active version, because they are actively available in the database. Okay. So we can use only those objects which are available in active version. Okay, what is active, what is new? Then we have third type of version called modified or revised. This is the third type of version is modified or revised. So now, see, once we change the active version object, once we change the active version object, version changes to what? Suppose after activating the object, imagine I'm doing some changes. Again, this change has to reflect to the database or not? That's why, what is that now? Once we change the active version object, version will be changed to revised. What you have to do? You have to again activate the object. So version changes to what? Active. Clear? And the last type of version that is called delivered. So the last type of version is called as what? Now, what we said SAP, there are some ready-made objects given which are called as BA content objects as we discussed. So, all BA content objects. So, what is BA content objects means? So, all BA content objects are available in a version called what? Delivered. Clear now? So right now I have created the catalog. What is the version now? New. Then what you have to do? You have to click on. So in the application toolbar, what is that? You can see a candle-like symbol is there, that is activated. So once I click activated, so it is doing some background operations. And what is that it is becoming now? It is active and it is executable, so that you can use this particular object. So now, once it is done, just go back. Now this is your info area and this is your character catalog. Same way, if you want, you can create now one more catalog, but let us say this I am saying for key figure. Just selecting the info object type is key figure. Then you have to click on create and then what? Activate. Okay, go back. So now what you can see? Two folders, one folder on. Whenever you want to create a character type of info object, use character catalog. And when you want to create a key figure type of info object, use key figure catalog. See now? Right click on this. What is the option you are getting? This is what? Create a character. See? So this is what? Create a. So that is the segregation I am speaking about. Understand now? So you can see now this is your info area. Under this there are two catalogs. Every object will be represented with some symbol. By seeing the symbol also you can identify what type of object is that. So this is a symbol for info area. And what you can see here, this is a symbol for character. A triangle, back end you can see a rectangle. Then you can see this is a symbol for key figure. A rectangle, back end is a triangle. This is a symbol for catalog. Clear now? So step 2 is also one-time task. So next time once you will not create any catalogs, you will make use of these catalogs itself. Any doubts as of now? Step 1 and step 2? Online people? Hello? Is it clear? Okay. So now we are moving to, this is the actual step what you are going to discuss. Step 3 is creation of what? Info objects. So your next step is to create your right. So now same thing. RS7 modeling tab in the right frame. Select your info object catalog. See, there is always link from one step to another one. Okay, what is context menu? Create what? In catalog one I am selecting, right? The right frame, select what? Then right click on that. You have to select option create info object. See now? Same thing. RS7 modeling tab, info object level, right frame. Right now in my exercise I am going to create now all for our characters only. So you have to select now character catalog. If you want to create key figures, select the key figure catalog. So select the character catalog. Context menu. What is the option? Create info object. So it's asking to give some name and description. Now, as of now you created is the folders. So for that you can give any name, it was allowing that. So but here standard is there again, see. So suppose if you are giving now, length is what now? 2. Will it allow? Object name should be between 3 and 9. So the minimum technical name of your info object should be what? Minimum should be 3, maximum should be 9. And it should be starting with alphabet only. So suppose it's showing what? Is not a same the general anything you see. Let us say your file name also like what is that? It should be alphabet. Same logic here also. Okay? Right. So give some name. What is that now I am creating? Y. I am creating an info object. I am saying IO. So someone uses a standard as IO. Some people use a still like C. C for character. K for key figure. IO means again there is bit confusion whether it is a character or key figure. So that's what I am using. Y, C, give some underscore. Right? Then after this you want, you can, whatever you want you can give it. Okay? So minimum should be 3, maximum should be 9. And it's asking for some description. Give some description. Customer. First info object I am creating. And you can see there is something called reference and so that we will understand in the next exercises. Because first if you understand the info object, then only you can understand what is reference info object, right? Now give some name and description, click on continue. So same thing. So give some name and description. Just click on continue. Right. Now what you can see, create characteristics. Which character you are creating? YC underscore CNO, that is customer number. And what is that now? This is your technical name what you have given. And this is a long description it is asking for. So this long description and short description are used at the time of reporting level. Suppose in the report if you say show it as short description, what it will show? Customer. Suppose if you show as long description, it will show as. Do you know what is long description? And you can see there are different tabs over here. General. What is the next one? So Business Explorer is the reporting tool what we are going to use. Now you can make some settings here for this info object. How it has to behave in a reporting part. Just now I said whether you want to show it as long description or that setting where I can do is from Business Explorer. And what you can see here, master data of type text, master data of type hierarchy, master data of type from attributes, component. This component also will understand later, but as of now what you can understand, one is text hierarchy. So whenever you want to maintain text type of master data, you can just go to text tab. Whenever you want to maintain hierarchy type, go to hierarchy tab, and attribute type means. Understand the logic? Very simple. Huh? So then you have to go to hierarchy tab. If you want to maintain attributes, go to attributes tab. Then what is the first one? General tab. Okay, in the general tab, what you can see, first one is it's asking for data type. So now those who are knowledge on R3, those who are working on ABAP, you can observe what is that it is asking. Data element, right? Yeah. So now those with R3 who can understand ABAP, so just you can see what is the data. So you specify in the data element domain. In the domain you specify data type and all that. So here I need to specify directly itself. You need not worry about that. So R3 said when you create a field, first they will be creating something called data element. In the data element they will be specifying something called domain. In the domain they will specify this data type and length. So here we are going to specify directly whatever I specify in my data type and length will be taken as your nothing but data. Data element is nothing but the properties of this object. Now what is there here? First one is, now what is data type? As I said, any info object you create, any object you create, first you have to specify the what type of values it has to hold is defined by your data type. So what is the data type now you can see here? One is character string. That means it holds both alphabets as well as numerics. Right now what is the data I am loading? C1, C2, C3. That means it's a string. Then what you can see? String with only digits. That means only the numeric values it can be hold. Or whether it is a date related field or a. Normally if you declare also you will say na, data customer number of type C, type N, type D, type T. Data type. Same thing. So right now I am saying. Now how do you specify this data type is? According to the source from you are extracting. Suppose if you are extracting from R3, in R3 you have a field, its data type is character, length is 10. What I have to give here? The same thing. Okay, give some data type I am given as. Data type is given as what? String. Okay, give some data type. I am saying character. Then it is asking to give some. So let us have given length as Imagine I have given length as what? E8. Now what happens now? Inside the database, it will be allocating. Let us say this is your customer number. What happens for this? It will allocate how many bytes now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8 storage locations will be allocated. So suppose you are loading now what? C1, right? Hmm. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now you are loading now, let us say C1. C1 is nothing but what? 2 bytes. Like that maximum I can load up to 8 bytes. Because I have given length as 8. So the maximum length what I can give is 60. So the maximum length can be given is what? 60. Okay, so give some data type, then give some length. So next option what is asking? Lowercase letters. Okay, what is the next one is? Lowercase letters. So what is lowercase letters now? It is asking whether you want to allow lowercase or not. So if you check this indicator, what happens? If you check this indicator, it allows both lowercase and uppercase. If not only what? Uppercase. So by default it is not selected. Is it selected by default? No. So now what it will do? By default it is only allowing just to load only uppercase. But if I select it, what happens now? It will allow us to load both lowercase as well as. But when I am selecting it, what is it saying? Lowercase makes selection of character values difficult. What does that mean? Now suppose you selected lowercase, now it will allow us to load both lowercase as well as. Now already one is now C1 I loaded with lowercase. Suppose I am loading with. What happens? Now this is a separate character. Now this is a how many C1s will be there in the database now? 2 C1s. And suppose when you are starting now searching for, suppose I am developing a report, I am starting now searching for C1. When it starts searching for C1, it has to be specific whether it is searching for small case or lower case. What happens? Performance will be degraded or not. So suppose if you don't have selected it only, now even though you do small C1 and start searching, what happens? It fetches the only. So there is no segregation now in the database whether it is lowercase or uppercase, because it is allowing us only uppercase values. So that's why what is that now? It will improve your performance. But if you select it, it will degrade your performance. So selection of lowercase, right? This indicator if you select it, it is going to degrade your performance. So that's why generally what we do, we don't select it. Clear now? What is lowercase option? Then what is that now? Conversion routine. What is the option? Conversion. So what is conversion routine now you have taken is? Conversion routine is alpha, right? Now what is the task of this alpha is? Now what is the length you have given? 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I have given length as 8, and what is the data type I have taken? String. Now imagine, but while loading I am loading only 1000. So 1000 is how many bytes? Now whether this 1000 has to sit in first 4 locations or last 4 locations? If it sits in the first 4, what happens? What is the value it is becoming? The last empty it will think, so it will make it as zeros. What is the value it becomes in the database? But it's not like that, right? So now what alpha will do? It will ensure that your values are left padded with zeros. While storing in the database, how it stores now? Okay, well, right? What it will do? Right. So now alpha will ensure that what are the values that you are loading are stored how? With left padding with zeros, left padded with. But while showing the output it will show as 1000 only, but while storing in the database it stores as left padded with zeros. Understand now? Right. So any doubts about these settings? Data type, length, lowercase, and conversion routine. Any doubts? The settings what has to be done in general type are clear? Face to face. Now, how about Srinivas? Sudhi, Srinivas, it's clear? Srinivas? I think you can go on, your voice is echoing actually. Okay, right. Now this is now what? Front end we have created one. Hello Srinivas? Srinivas, can you hear me? Yeah, fine. Yeah. So, now front end we have created a, let us say this is your client system. In your client system what you are doing, you are creating a info object called customer number, right? But its impact is on what? Database, no? So front end you are creating an info object, but internally in the database it is generating the. So right now I have shown you what is that I am going to do in the front end. That is, I have created a info object. Now what I am going to show you for your understanding purpose, I am going to show you what has happened in the database. So this is right now what I am showing you only for your understanding purpose. It will not come under your navigation. So now you can understand why I am creating a info object. So what is the impact of creation of info object on the database? Okay. So right now what I am showing you is only for your understanding purpose. So now what is that? See, whenever we create a character info object, system will generate three tables in the database by default. That means if you use default options, what happens now? Internally in the database, it is going to generate 3 tables. And then we will say info object, but internally in database it refers to what? 3 tables. So what are the 3 tables? Okay, one is called master data type. What is that now? Attributes. Second one is called master data type text. Then third one is called SID table. Okay, one is master data type attributes. Then second one is master data type text, and one more is, so this we call it as a P table. Primary table means attribute table, T table means text table, and SID table means EX table. So front end we created a customer number info object in the client side, but its impact on the database is, this is, let us see your database. So what is that impact on databases? By default it is going to generate now 3 tables inside the database. What are the 3 tables? P, T and S. Master data type attributes, master data type text, and master data type, not master data type, SID table. Okay, so front end, this is you create info object, but internally in the database the 3 tables are generated by the system itself. Now generated means, will it have its own name, or what are the name I am giving? Generated by system is, it takes its own name, right? Okay, but when you are creating, you will give your name, but generated by system itself. So you can see some program files or something. What is the name of them? It's all taken by system itself. The same way here, right? So first, what I am showing you, the naming convention of these tables. What name it will take? You are not creating any table. Table is generated by system itself. So that means it takes its own name. So now what I am going to discuss is what name it is going to take. So any table in the BI you consider, it starts with a /BI. Okay, any table we consider in BI database, what is that now? It starts with what? /BI. That means it's a BI related object. Then after /BI, it will be taking either C or 0. After /BI, what it will take? Either C or C is for customer defined, then 0 is for, the tables are generated based on what? Based on your info object. Now is this info object is a customer defined or a ready-made one? So that means it will take C. Suppose if it was a ready-made info object, it would have taken 0. Then after this again one more slash, then what it will do? T or S. Which table you want to see? Attribute table or text table or SID table. If it is attribute table, it will be, the name will be P. If you want text table, will start with T. SID table starts with S. And after this, name of info object. Clear now? So now suppose this is your table now. In this example, what will be its name? YC underscore. What will be your text table? T. And what will be your SLD table is? Yes. Clear now? So now, let us say I want to see these tables inside the database. So now, what I am doing, so to see the tables, so what is the T code you have to use is? EX11. The T code you have to use is what? SE. To see the database tables, use a transaction code called. So now what I am doing, this is now, right now I am asking in one session. So now I am going to create a new session. What is that here? Create new session. So this is the window you are working actually, and one more session has been. So like that, you can open 6 parallel sessions at a time. Now what is the T code I am saying? SC11. Then it's asking to give the table name. What is the table name as I say? So then click on display. What is the name? Table does not exist. Check the name. Then what about text table? Does not exist. Check the name. Same way for SLD table. What's happening there? It's saying tables does not exist. Please check your name. Front end we have created an object, but still it is telling tables does not exist. Check the name. Why? Because your version is what? I just created. I didn't inform it to my database. That's what. So what you have to do after creating this now, can you see what is there here? SID table. It is empty right now. Just activate it. Now I can observe in the status bar what it says. Creation of DDIC objects. Creation of database dictionary objects. So that means inside the database excuse me. No, I am creating the info object. 3 tables will be getting generated automatically. See now? What is the version right now? You can see is new. So once your object has been activated, what is the version now? Active. Can you see SID table is available? What is the table name? And you can observe what is that? This is your text table and this is your attribute table. See now, go and see now. Earlier it said same thing, it does not exist check name. Now observe, click on display. Now a table is available in the database. Which table I am seeing now? SIDs, master data IDs. So what it has? Customer number. What is the field it has? And it's SID. That's what I said. So when you create a character info object, system will generate one SID table. So what is the SID table I shown? Customer number and its SID. See, customer number and its. That same way, look at your P table. Attribute table this is. What it has? Customer number is the primary key, tick mark. Why it has taken as primary key? Because this table is generated based on this info object, right? And Actually, what is my requirement? Here I want name, address and phone number. Still we have not yet finished our entire exercise. Then, what about your text table? So text represents what I said. Language and description. So here, description is depending on customer number as well as what? Language. That's what I said. The multiple languages we can support. So like this, front end you are creating your info object, but internally in the database is generating now 3 tables by. Now did I specify anywhere to the system to maintain text type of master data? It's taken out by default, right? Why? Because when you created, what has been selected here? With text. Under this, what has been selected? Short text existent to maintain text type of master data. What you can do? Everyone can hear me? Okay, sir. See, now I don't want to maintain text type of master data. What you can do? Just remove with text. Now, will there be any text table now? What is the version you can observe? Revised. So once I change the active version object, version is changing to. Now, go and look at your text table. Still it is there. Why? Because we didn't. Right now, text table will not be there now. So understand, this is one front end tool. Using this, I am operating my database. The object has been activated. Go and check now here. Display, what is still there? Same name I am giving, but it is saying no. Text table does not exist. Check the name. Because here I have unchecked the text. Now same way, suppose I don't want to maintain attributes also. Master data type. Suppose I am creating an info object called name. Do you require any attributes for name? I am specifying name as attribute to it. For that I don't require any key table. Huh? So what you can do? So what you can do? What is there here? With master data. So now can you see attribute tab is there? Suppose I remove it. What happens? That means you are saying I don't want to maintain any. Now, what is the version? Revised. Now change has happened informed to the database. Will there be any key table? Listen to the logic. So by default, there's something generating 3 tables, 3 PES. But when you remove with master data, you will not have any P table, and when you remove with text, you will not have any text table. But right now, customer number, what I am saying, I want to maintain both. So I am selecting them and activating it. Okay, give me 1 second. I will. Yeah, please. Hello. Yeah, fine. So like that. So now, what is that now? Accordingly, what you are selecting, whether you want to maintain with master data or with text, according to that your tables get generated. So now, right now I have created what is that now? You have P, T and S. So totally 3 tables are generated in the database. Okay, how to create info object? And what is happening when you are creating a info object? Okay, it's echoing. I'll disconnect and let me call you back. Hello. Now it's clear? Yeah. Right. Any doubts now? Online people? Hello. Let me come one by one. Srinivas? Fine. How about Venugopal? Here. Sudhir? Tell me. Yes. So, what is this question is unchecking the checkbox is a part of performance? Yes. Suppose, next imagine I am going to create next info object called name. So, name, I am going to take name as a primary key. Name is also one individual info object. If you create it, for that also it will generate PTS. Now, do you require any P table for name? I want only P table, master table for customer, not for name. That means if you don't uncheck for name, again for name also 3 tables will be generated. But the tables are of no use. So what happens? Unnecessarily you are wasting your space in the database. That's why what I will do, when I am creating my other info objects like attributes, I will be just removing those checkboxes. Is it clear, Vinay? Usually for the primary key you will be selecting. But next you will come across some concept wherein your attribute will also have one more attribute. So let us say now, imagine right now it is customer. For customer, what is it I specified? I am specifying, let us say, address. So address is attribute towards customer. Now suppose I have something called location. Location is attribute towards. At that time for address I want to maintain an attribute, then I will select. So that you will understand later part, not now. Okay, that depends upon the data that you have, that depends upon the modeling that you want to do. You will decide whether you want to check it or not. Right, is it clear, Sudhi? Vinay is also clear? Right. So now I have created one info object called customer number. Any doubts from your side? Clear? The same way, let me say I am going to create the other 3 info objects also. Name, address and same way. How is that now? Catalog. Create your info object. So this I am saying this is what now? Customer name. So name is what? String. Then give some length. And as I said, just what as I said, will not maintain any master data for name. What you can do? Uncheck them, activate them. Okay, name is clear, same thing. Same way for address also. What is that? So give some name. So address is also a string. Give some length. Uncheck them. Activate it. So same way, address is done. Phone number. Now phone number is what? Numeric, right? But suppose sometimes you have some data like +91 or something. Then what has to be selected? string. It depends upon the data that you are extracting. Plus means again it's not a numeric. So then what you have to select? Character string. So then give some length. Then uncheck the options. Finally activate it. Clear now? So like this, you have to go on create your required info objects. So done. So I have created now all my info objects. What do you have to do now? Next task, you have to specify that these three are depending on primary key. So now, what is that now? Your next step 4. What is step 4 is? Specify. So another finish the exercise, another 5 minutes it will take. Specify other info objects as specify other info objects as what? Attributes towards primary key info object, right? Okay. Now, what is the path for that? Observe. Same thing, right? RSA1 modeling tab, info object level. In the right frame, select the primary key info object. Which is that now what you are thinking as a primary key now? RSA1 modeling tab, info object level, right frame. Select your primary key info object. What is primary key here now? I am taking it as a customer number. Then you have to click on change. To select it, then click on change. Yeah? So then what is there here? Attribute tab. So go to attribute tab. And specify the, after going to that, what you have to do, and you have to specify your attributes. So I'm going to the attribute tab. What is that notice asking now? What are all your? Just now I've created name, address, and don't specify number. Number is not an attribute to it. Under number, dependencies are name, address, and already I'm specifying under number, right? So now, if you know the name, you can just type your name, what I have created just now. If you don't know the name, you can use the search help option. When you use the search help, it will be displaying all the objects that are available, but it is very difficult to find out. So there the naming convention is useful. Search it. What is that now? I know it starts with Y, then C. What is that now? C and M, C address, and this is one way. Or what you can do, just open one more session. So in another session, what you can do, just you can copy the names here. Control C, then go there and paste it. Control V. Then press enter. What is that it's taking? Name. Then same way for address, paste it. Then even for phone number also. Clear the logic? Very simple. Or the best way is you can start creating your attributes from here itself. Just create a primary key, then you can go and create a attribute from here itself. Okay. Then what you have to do after specifying this? Activate it. Now this is what is called modeling. Now your target is ready in the BI database. Observe now. Your object has been activated. So just go and look at your P table. So either you can go and check it in SE11, or what you can do, here itself you have, no? What is there here? P table. Double click on that. Now, this is which table now? What you have? Customer number, name. Now is it same as your contents? Then you can click on execute. So right now what is it? Customer number, name. A table is ready now in the database now. Is there any data as of now in this? There is no data. So now your target is ready. So what is your target now? One is P table, display, contents, and execute. Yeah. So now for this, we need to start loading the. I can load it from manually, or I can load it from file, or anything. But right now our exercise is manual entry. So now what I am doing, last task, step 5. Step 5 is to maintain master data manually. Same thing. Same path. R7, modeling tab, info object level. In the right frame, select your primary key info object. Context menu, that is right click. You can select what is it? Maintain master data. Same thing. Customer number is your primary key. Right click on that. What is the option now? So once I click on maintain master data now, you will get one screen. Okay, that is called selection screen. Will get. So what is that now? Don't enter the values here. This is called as a selection screen. Now you have suppose data of customer C1 to C100. I want to see only values of C1. I will type here. Then it will display only values of. Don't enter the values here. Click on execute. So once I click execute, you can start creating. So click on create. So then it's asking for values. So you can type the values. Then you can click on. So once I click save, what happens? Number, name, address and phone number will store in P table. Language and description will store in text table, and one numeric ID called as yesterday will be generated in. So just observe now if you want. P table was empty. What has been done? I just refreshed it. C1, name is ABC, address is Bangalore. See the phone number? Alpha. While storing that. Then you can look at your text table now. SC11. What is that now? T. Display. Contents. Okay, display. Contents. Execute. Now C1. In English language, what is the description? Customer 1. And look at your SID table. Display. Content 2. So as and when I load master data, I am loading now C2. Right? Address is something. As and when we load master data, what is going to happen now? A numeric ID is generated into when we load master data, system will generate a unique numeric ID called as SID in its corresponding SID has been generated. Yes. What about your text table now? C2 in English language description is customer 2. Then what about your clear? So like that. So your data is filled into those tables. And now this is master data. What happens master data? Any change occurs, the change will be overwriting or not. But transaction data will be additive. Suppose, imagine, let us say your balance. Yesterday you deposited 10,000, today I am depositing 5,000. What is your balance now? Is it adding up or not? So transaction data behavior is additive. Master data behavior is what? Overwrite, right? So C1 today is in Bangalore. Suppose today you shifted from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Tomorrow I am changing Bangalore to. So master data behavior is overwrite. Data in the master table, overwrite. Data in the transaction table, additive. That's what we call behavior of master data is called present root. Behavior of transaction data is called fact root. That's why we even call transaction table as the fact table. Yesterday we said fact table, no? Why? Because the behavior of transaction data is fact root. Now master data behavior is what? Overwrite, right? Now I am showing you that behavior. Suppose this customer has been shifted from Hyderabad to Chennai. What I am doing, front end I am changing from Hyderabad to and save it. What has happened? What should be there in the database now? Chennai only, but observe what is there. Now C2 now it has two records. One is Hyderabad, other one is. So active version is Hyderabad, modified version is. If you develop a report, which one will come? Still Hyderabad only. Active one only, right? And you can see it is maintaining some flag. What is that? D and. So what is D and I observe? So D means deleted, I means inserted. I is inserted, D is. That means actually what should happen in the database now? This record should be deleted and this record should be inserted. But this change is not yet reflected. Right? That's why any change occurs to the master data, what you have to perform is you have to perform an option called activation of master data. What has to be performed? The same thing, primary key, what is the option? Now I don't know when the master data changes. That's why as and when we load master data, immediately we'll perform a process called activation of. It's activated. Now go and observe now in the P table what has happened. Wherever D is there it has been deleted. Wherever I is there it has been inserted. Understand now? So this is how you can load data into BI manually from a user entry. Okay, so any doubts on this part? So this is your first exercise, a simple exercise I have taken. So just practice it.